Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to transfer new Optix members into your Mailchimp email list. Now Optix doesn't have a direct integration with Mailchimp, so you'll be using Zapier for this. Zapier allows you to connect up your different technology platforms. And so today I'm going to show you how to create two Zaps. The first Zap is simple. When a new member is added to Optix, that same member will be added to as a subscriber in Mailchimp. And so in this case, you'd be adding them to, say, an email list to receive your newsletter or your members' newsletter, or even an onboarding series for your new members. The second Zap I'm going to show you triggers when a new Optix plan is registered for a user. And that will also add that subscriber in Mailchimp, but it's also going to add some extra details around that person's plan name. So that can be really useful if in Mailchimp you want to send an email to a specific segment of your members, perhaps the members who belong to a specific plan name. Now, although both of these apps use Optix and Mailchimp, you can be really flexible with what the trigger and the action are. So this could be any other membership platform, and the second, the creating subscriber, could be for any email marketing platform, as long as those apps connect into Zapier. So let's get started with the first Zap. I'm going to go to Zapier and make a Zap. For the trigger, I'm going to choose Optix, and my event is going to be when a new member is added to the venue. I'm going to click continue. If you haven't used Optix with Zapier before, you'll have to authenticate your account. Since I have before, I'm just going to click and continue. You're going to choose the venue, and then you're going to test your trigger. And what Zapier is saying here is that it needs some recent data to pull in so that it can make sure that the trigger is working properly. You can skip this, but I always recommend doing it. So I'm going to head over to Optix. Now I'm already a member in Optix, but we need this to be a recent member activation. So I'm going to add a user. And I'm going to give them a plan. Okay, now we can see I'm a new active member in Optix who's been given a plan, so I'm technically a new member. And if I go back to Zapier and test my trigger, I'll see that yes, my data has come through. So this has been successful. I can see the name of the venue, the first and last name that were passed in, and the email. Now what you won't see is the name of the plan, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do in the next Zap. But for now, we're just going to leave it like this. Continue. And for the action, I'm going to use Mailchimp, and I'm going to add or update subscriber. I'm going to choose my audience, and in Mailchimp I've created a test membership list. Any spots that are marked as required will need to be filled out for this Zap to work. So I'm going to put in the email address by clicking in this field, and then you'll see that the email that was passed over from Optix is sitting here. All I need to do is click that, and that will insert that into the box. These fields are up to you. For update existing, we can set this to no in this case. If you've got any groups you want to add them to, you can do so. What I recommend doing for members is adding a member tag. So in Mailchimp, I previously created a member tag, and so when I go through Zapier, I'm going to be able to pick out that tag, and that will be added to these new contacts in Mailchimp. I've also got the first name and last name, so I'm going to fill those in just as before. I don't have a plan name, but we're going to talk about that for the next Zap. Alright, so I'm clicking continue, and the final step for this app is going to be to test this out. Will this work? So click the test and review step. You scroll up, we've got a green banner there, which is great. That means that this was successful. This is just showing you some data about the success that happened, but to verify that, I'm going to go into Mailchimp. So in Mailchimp, I've got my audience list here, the test membership list, and now I have filtered for contacts containing the member tag. So before there was no one, but now if I refresh, I will see that now I am there as a new subscriber with the member tag. So that has worked correctly. Fantastic. That is ready to close, and Zapier will prompt you to turn on. Feel free to give it a name before you turn it on. Alright, so that one's done, but as you saw, we weren't able to pull in the plan name for that new member. So let's go and create another Zap to do that. Here I am back on the Zapier dashboard. I'm going to make another Zap. Again, I'm going to choose Optix as my trigger, and the event this time is going to be a new plan subscription. Now again, I'm going to test my trigger, and in this case you'll see that the data that came through is a little bit different. So it's still the test email and test name I put together, but you'll see now that we include some extra fields like the plan name, the plan start time, the plan created time, lots of interesting data, and even the amount that the plan is worth, or how much is paid monthly. So that came through successfully. I'm going to continue, and again my next step is going to be Mailchimp, and again it's going to be add or update subscriber. Now the nice thing about this action is that it's an add or update. So if they weren't there already, it's going to create a new contact in Mailchimp and subscribe them. But if they're already there, it's going to update them with any new information. And so that means that even if somebody is already a member in Optix, if they get a new plan, that data will be updated in their Mailchimp profile. So to make sure that happens, we're going to again add them to the test membership list. Their email address again is pulled in from Optix. And here, for update existing, we're going to keep it as yes. Again, we're going to leave these tags. We're going to do the member just in case. And then first name and last name just as before. First name and last name. And now we can add the plan name. Okay, I'm going to click continue. And again, I'm going to test. So as you can see, again, I got a green banner. And now if I go back to Mailchimp and I'll do another refresh, you can see my contact is still there. It didn't create a duplicate because it already found somebody with that email list in there, which I'd created before. But it is marking a new change, and when I go into that contact, I can now see that their plan name is the plan name I signed them up for. So that information is now in there, which is great. So that Zap is also now ready to go. Now if you're wondering which of these to use, so under my understanding, a person in 99.99% of cases is going to become a member in Optix when they get a new plan. So you can use either of these Zaps because they're effectively showing you something very similar. But if you do want that plan information added, you should definitely use this new plan Zap here, because this one will just add the member once when they go into Optix, and if they change plans, it's not going to update that information in Mailchimp. Whereas this Zap, the second one, every time that person gets a new plan in Optix, it will then update and keep that in sync in Mailchimp for you to create segmented emails to people on specific plans. So I hope that helps. I'm going to be creating share links for each of these Zaps, and I'll put them in the YouTube description, which means you can go straight to those links and pull them straight into your Zapier accounts with some little notes to help you out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and found it useful, please give it a like and feel free to subscribe. The videos I post are all about connecting up your different platforms, specifically to help tie together the data on your audiences.